Hey, what's going on, everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back again with another cryptocurrency video. Today we're going to be talking about what's going on with the markets in general, and is it time to sell your cryptos? Should you maybe even be buying cryptos while they're dropping? And kind of the whole mindset surrounding that. What would be a right way to look at these things? And as usual, none of this is financial advice. It's just my own personal opinion, where I see things going and kind of how I'm going to go about trading cryptos more specifically. Now, cryptos have fallen with the stock market over the last couple days. Today specifically, the stock market completely crumbled once again. And, Apple down 8%, Google down 6%. If we look at the general market, we're going to see some pretty huge moves to the downside. We got the Dow Jones, S&P 500, and the NASDAQ all down over 7% today alone. And that is obviously a very unusual and extreme scenario, but you have to keep in mind with all the drama that's going on and the fact that the stock market was pumped up so high, this is what happens, right? We get this type of drop. And it caused a lot of fear and panic. There's already a lot of fear and panic going on in the world as is. So it creates this, snowball effect of a complete tumble of prices. Now, how does that affect crypto? Well, if we go back to crypto, we're going to see that in the past 7 days, cryptos have fallen. A lot of them around 10 to 20%. So in that sense, some would say they didn't hold up that well. I'd say that, if you've been in the crypto market, a drop of 10% or so is not really anything that crazy or that special, right? Now, of course, they did drop, and maybe not as much as a safe haven, for example, for Bitcoin, as people may have thought. However, if we look at some more details, and I'm going to go over the chart, we'll cover BTC, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, Chainlink, and Tezos, but you'll see that we are still within a pattern that I talked about in the last couple weeks, and everything is happening as I expected. Now, that's not to say that, we might not drop more, because by all means, it seems like we will probably drop more. But I think that, Bitcoin specifically is going to be able to hold up a bit better than some might think. Not to say that it's not going to drop, but it's not going to, just completely disappear and collapse, as some people are predicting that crypto is done or whatever. That's most likely not the case. Right now, some of the altcoins might get hit a little bit harder, especially the ones that don't have maybe enough, support and reason for them to hold up. Those ones are probably going to get hit really hard, and a lot of them may even die out, as we've seen in the past during, some bear crypto markets. A lot of the ones that were doing good when everything was fine actually ended up, completely falling off a cliff, and that's because you need to see how these cryptos act, especially the altcoins, in the tough times to really know the value behind them, right? And if we compare, just really quick snapshot, stock market completely red, go over to cryptos, we're seeing a little bit of red and green in the past day. And if we look at gold and silver, down a bit, but overall pretty stable, right? In both the crypto market and the commodities of gold and silver, we're seeing relative stable price action compared to the stock market with 7+% drops. And like I said, it's not really fair to compare a 7% drop in the cryptocurrency market as it would be for the stock market, for obvious reasons, right? Cryptos are much more volatile normally, and for stocks to get a 7% drop, that is a pretty concerning big deal. So that's kind of the mindset that I'm taking in. To answer the question, is now the time to be selling cryptos? Me personally, I'm not selling out of any cryptos. I am consolidating towards the ones that I really like. So Bitcoin is an obvious one. If you want to be on the safe side, I think Bitcoin is always going to be one that you're going to have to kind of hopefully balance things out a bit and be able to endure the tough times a bit more. I'm still buying some Tezos whenever I can because I like the fact that I can get those staking benefits from it. And whatever altcoin you might like specifically, I think it's a pretty similar thing, but for sure, I'd say maybe consolidate towards the ones you like. Don't necessarily hold, a bunch of cryptos, because a lot of the altcoins, for example, are probably going to get hit really hard, and only the best will survive. So that's just my personal opinion and not financial advice. Let's go ahead and take a look at the technicals, see what's going on. So Bitcoin specifically, we're in this bigger symmetrical range pattern, and when Bitcoin was climbing up just a few weeks ago, people were expecting it to go right back to $20,000, and I was saying a lot of signs aren't pointing towards that. A lot of signs are actually pointing towards us moving towards the end of this pattern, which would push us into 2021 before we exit this pattern, and all the way back down to $6,600 is where the end of this pattern is. But before then, we could actually fall all the way down to $5,000 again and get a bounce off that, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. It would be an opportunity to get in a lower price as we would move towards that end of the symmetrical triangle, at which point we'd either break out higher or lower, and that would truly set the direction. Until that happens, until we break out of this triangle, we're still in a triangle, and it's just going to be ups and downs in this triangle. Now, the RSI also was an indicator, and you saw me draw this out in the past. Same thing on the MACD, that we were going to flip lower, and it happened exactly to a T, right? We got this really rounded kind of inverse, head and shoulder inverse cup and handle pattern, where we're flipping back, and we're currently about to push below the 30 line on the RSI. So we might get some bounces, we might get some drops, but overall, we're going to stay in this pattern. I think we're going to move closer and closer to $6,000. I don't necessarily see Bitcoin moving below $5,000. I think it's going to stay in the pattern, basically, right? And that is a good thing. So let's move over to some of the altcoins, see if they're going to be able to hold up as well, at least based on the technicals. Ethereum, unfortunately, just looking at now, we broke below the bounce pattern here, which was this W-shaped pattern. So it seems like that pattern is canceled, and it looks like we may experience more of a consolidation pattern as we're going to move up and down here in this pattern. So we could be heading down to $75 here at the very least. More likely, a bounce around somewhere $100, $125, but it looks like we are going to be going lower in the shorter to medium term for Ethereum. Litecoin up next, and then we're going to cover Ripple, Tezos, and Chainlink. So heading over to Litecoin, it is still in the W pattern that I had drawn out. We are flipping, a bit bearish on the indicators. We'll have to see what happens, but I'd say if Ethereum broke out of its pattern, I'd be careful here with Litecoin. On the plus side, I don't see us moving below this uptrend line right here. This is our long-term uptrend line. So staying above that is going to be a really good thing, and will keep prices relatively stable as well, as we would probably not move below, really $37, $40 if we're able to hold above that uptrend line, which is really nice. Now, heading over to Ripple, overall, held up decently well, I'm going to say. And if we go ahead and zoom in, take a closer look at what's happening, we had a bit of a spike, didn't hold, pulled back down, and now we are unfortunately below that 21-cent support level. We do still have support from being above 20 cents, so that is a good thing, but I'd be careful. If we move below 20 cents, we could start to sink lower back into some levels around 10 or 15 cents that we really don't want to be near with Ripple. So got to be careful here. It's really at the limit, I'd say. Now, heading over to Tezos next. Like I said, this is one that I am buying for those staking benefits, just taking advantage of the lower prices to kind of load up. But I'm fully aware that there is some risk to that, and it's not, necessarily just going to be this free, money or anything like that, because by all means, Tezos did fall a lot. Now, in its defense, Tezos was very high, and I just like everything about Tezos, so it didn't really bother me to be loading up, even if it was catching a bit of a falling knife in a way. But as you see, we bounced off really nicely off $2.30, and currently getting that bounce. So I don't think we're necessarily going to get back above $3 as of right now. Probably going to stay around this level, and then we could eventually move a bit lower towards $2. Could even go lower than that, who knows. but I'm not too worried about it either way. I think that this is one that I feel comfortable enough with buying even if it drops a bit. So that's kind of where I'm at. But for now, shorter to medium term, probably going to be a little bit more stable than some other altcoins out there, I'd say, now that it got its drop and pullback, which is something that needed to happen because, like I said, it was pretty high before and it did need to get a breather there. So we're going to take a look at Chainlink. This is one that was doing very well right before the drop. And let's see how this cup and handle pattern is moving along. So we have this pattern that I talked about, kind of circular U-shaped pattern. And if we go ahead and draw out our uptrend lines, we have two of them here. They are still fully intact, which is pretty amazing considering a lot of these other cryptos and altcoins that struggled a bit. In fact, huge amount of buying volume here and very strong bounce, big lower wick. So buyers really stepped in to support that $3.63 level. So by all means, it seems like anywhere near $3.50, we've got a lot of support, which is a good thing for Chainlink. And we'll just have to see if it's able to stay above this first uptrend line. For now, it seems like it'll be the case. I would not be surprised if we moved a bit lower and ended up moving more towards $3.50, maybe consolidating over there. And even if we were to move back to this longer term uptrend line, this is still a crypto that is holding up, quite well in my opinion. And, it's gone up a lot. So even if it comes back here, it's still doing, relatively quite good compared to a lot of other cryptos out there. So moving below $3 is somewhat unlikely right now for Chainlink, and that makes it one of the strongest altcoins out there actually. So Chainlink and Tezos, both some of the better altcoins out there in my opinion. Not saying that they're not going to drop, but they should be able to, hold up at least when it matters at these support levels when the time comes. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll always keep you updated on the markets. And don't forget to check out my technical analysis master course to learn technical analysis. It's the ultimate guide. 4.2 stars out of 5. We've got great ratings, less than $20, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. You're not going to find a course as good as this for this price, so make sure to take advantage. Link in the description. And follow me on Twitter for live market updates. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.